and we'll skip down to the discussions and subcommittee reports. Who can report on the website and social media? Can you report on that, Kate?
Oh, well, I can. Absolutely, Lauren can. Lauren.
Yeah. So we had a meeting with Ruthnie a little while back and went over a lot of stuff about the website, asking about different platforms, like they're doing, and I can't remember the name of what they're using. I've got it in my notes. And so we have the option of using the platform that the city's using, or we have the option of using WordPress. And I think we came to the conclusion that WordPress would probably be better for our needs. It was very long, very productive conversation. I think it was over an hour and a half. And she was able to answer a lot of our questions about social media and setting up the website. So we are going to be setting up social media presence through Facebook, Instagram. Instagram will be the first one, as well as YouTube and a Twitter account. So we'll be setting all that up, and that'll be the first step before we really start with the content on the website. So everybody's been super busy, so it's been hard for Tina and Michael, John, and I to get together to discuss moving forward with the website. But we have the go-ahead for most all of it. I think we need to establish some kind of an alias for Facebook. Do you remember that weirdness, Kate?
Yes.
So if you guys can help me with an alias for Facebook, that would be nice, because I guess no one person is allowed to use their personal account for Facebook for the city. So if anybody has any ideas, that would be nice.
So let me understand this. The alias has to be in some individual entity that over the long haul would be able to administer this Facebook site?
Yeah, essentially, in order to set up a site for SPAC, we would have to set up a personal account. But because in the city, no one can use their personal account to run a city account, we have to establish an alias account. So it's like a fake personal account.
Okay.
And I have no ideas for names.
You could use a Star Trek name like Mr. Spack.
What?
Just a very, very bad joke.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear it. It broke up.
oh, Mr. Spack.
Mr. Spack.
You need pointy ears, though.
It's better than anything I've got. So anyway, I think anyone who wants to be involved with the social media accounts has to take a 1-hour tutorial course on how to do that. So if anybody's interested, let me know, and I can email Ruthnie and ask to get you guys on that.
Yeah, I should probably do it.
I think we should all do this.
Okay. Okay.
It would be good because we'll all be contributing to the social media.
Okay. I think, and we should talk about that because it may get kind of chaotic if everybody's posting, different quality of pictures and things like that. So, if we are going to have it open to everybody, we need to all be on the same page about what kinds of posts we intend to make and what that underlying message is going to be, so we can be consistent across.
Very good idea.
Professional. So could set up a set of guidelines as to what that is. As far as the logo, Ruthie at first was hesitant about the logo. I'm not really sure that she got it, but as we talked about it, she seemed to warm up to it. She shared with us several colors and what the colors mean and what colors we can use. I think the color we're supposed to use is a deep blue, Prussian blue, I think is the color that we're supposed to be using, as well as fonts. And it's just a free font. And of course I think I can put some stuff on the Google Drive if you guys are interested in seeing all this stuff. I imagine you are. Or Kate, were you able to put any of that on there? Have you done that yet, or should I?
I don't think the logo is on the Google Drive yet.
Okay.
So.
What about the logo standards provided by the city?
Geez, no, that's not on there either.
Okay.
And actually, I'm not sure. I don't. Did I? I don't even remember if I downloaded those when she did. I mean, I must have, but if you have them though.
Yeah, I can
upload
on there. I haven't been on the Google Drive for a while, so it might take me a minute to find that email to the link.
Okay. Yeah, and if I can send it back out to you.
Okay.
Yep.
That sounds good.
What is the name of the font?
I can't remember off the top of my name. It's a free font.
Oh.
So anybody has access to it.
All right.
But it certainly makes it easier for us to download it and incorporate it into our stuff. Makes it a little easier for us to be compliant.
Yes, that's good.
So, yeah, but I can put, she gave us this whole PDF about the city branding, and gave us a long background about her efforts to get a citywide consistent branding, to get all of the different departments together on the branding. So
it's good.
But anyway,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think we have a little bit more leeway than the other departments. That was my impression, is that we're given some, I can't think of the word. We're given some breathing space.
Yeah, a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why we get more?
I think because my impression was because we're not like a major regulatory entity. I don't know. We're not important. Yeah, I hate to say that, but that was the impression I got. Is it, you know, maybe because we're a creative entity. Let's say that.
I think that I would have gone there, Lauren.
Okay.
I think the thing is that, you know, DPW and the water department have very specific information that they have to impart, and we have specific information that we have to impart. But there's also this other layer of you know, information and images, and you know, we're trying to do a lot more than the other departments are.
Right.
And so if she's willing to give us a little bit more reign, as it were, then I would say let's go for it. See what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we don't, because honestly, I don't feel like all of the branding really fits what I think we're trying to do. So the fact that we have some flexibility there, I think really works to our advantage. But hey, Kate, am I missing anything important?
I don't think so. I think that I'll go back over my minutes, but I think that the order of business, she said, would be to finalize the logo and brand and the sort of brand guidelines, then social media, then the website. I think that was just sort of her order of recommendation of how we
So
go
where do we
about it.
stand on
That's
the
at least what I
logo?
wrote.
Where do we
Sorry?
stand on the logo at the current time?
That's a good question.
Yeah, oh, that's okay. So Ruthie asked for, she asked for a couple variations with SPAC with different juxtapositions of SPAC with the image, and that those variations will lead, she said, to a one-page brand sheet that will include the logo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And when we'll use them. Something about see now, Lauren and Ruthie, they were talking a mile a minute, and it felt like it was a foreign language to me. Some of this, like, okay, we need an inverted background, the design guidelines.
Yeah, and basically a lot of that will come after we finalize the logo. So once we have a logo that we've decided that we like, I wasn't entirely clear, Kate, was she wanting for us to submit it again for final approval, or?
I think so. I think that she was looking for just some variations in line weight. That's the other what I also wrote down.
Right.
Just play with a little bit more, because I think that she wasn't 100% there on.
Well, and I think when you look at the other logos in the city, they are much more pictorial. You know, they have a variation of line weight, and I mean, they're like, the city seal is like a straight up drawing of you know, the city. We talked about that, and it's a little different than the logo that we were starting on. If you guys have any suggestions of how you'd like to see, what you might like to see change with the logo, I'm open to that. I know Michael John loves the logo as is, and he's like adamant that it doesn't change. And I think he would feel comfortable with me saying that, even though he's not here. He's just said that to me over and over and over again. Okay. But I'm definitely open. I drew the logo, and I'm definitely open to, you know, whatever you guys want to do. You know.
No, I know, Ellen, you haven't seen it yet, right? The logo. So so if we can get it up in the Google Drive.
Okay.
And or if you, then we can, then Ellen can weigh in as well.
Kate, is there a way that we can see the other departments' logos? That might be helpful to us.
Yeah, sure. I think I could get the other ones.
I know that they're all in that design guide.
Oh, okay.
PDF. Yep. Let me just see if I can do that. You guys still there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
This may take me a minute. That you guys might want to.
Okay.
She was sending me all kinds of emails back and forth during that meeting.
Oh, was she really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, while you're looking into that, do we want to hop into onto some of the special projects?
Yes. Why don't we do that? Let's go to the mural program, since you're here, and we'll get to the geodesic if
the dome.
We'll get to the dome later.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so Dan, do you want to give the update, or Ellen, you were there?
I think, Kate, haven't you had more recent correspondence with him though?
Oh, I've
gave
had
some
more
updates
emails.
since.
Okay, so I can give the the thumbnail of where we are. We had a good meeting on Friday, and unfortunately, Emmanuel wasn't able to participate in that meeting. But the Frank Malfitano has decided to narrow the scope down to one or two murals, and at least to start with, which makes sense to me rather than going right out the gate trying to get funding for three or more. I think his original proposal actually was for 4 more murals, if I'm not mistaken. His immediate thought was that doing a sports-related mural of sports figures might be the easiest in terms of funding availability, and so and that, let's see here. I just want to go back to my notes. But he also, while we were discussing, he really would like also to do a second mural there, and sort of in the running as well, and that would be a mural of Grace Jones. He really would like to see a mural put up of Grace Jones. So we have option one, and his thought was to, I think my understanding is it's basketball themed. So he would be going to the NBA and the WNBA and other contacts, thinking that maybe SU might be supportive, and just sort of running through the list of who he thought what was the lowest hanging fruit and made the most sense. And we also, so we talked about both of those options, and then also talked about locations. We don't have locations yet. That's one of my tasks, is to just go around downtown looking for what seem to be the best possible locations for these murals. We talked a lot about interaction with the media, and when that should happen, and how that should happen. Specifically, we're thinking about going to, it's not called the newspaper anymore, Syracuse.com, or Syracuse, what is it called? Sorry, you're mute. Sorry, go ahead, Ellen.
Sorry about that.
Advanced media, right? Advanced media. And we all had, and then also, one of the first things that I'm sort of running through my notes as we're talking here. We before any of that, we wanted to make sure that the administration is on board. So I am trying to get a meeting with the mayor just to run through these two options and make sure that the administration is supportive. Yeah, we're also, budget is a big thing too, and I think Ellen's homework was she was checking in with some contacts from Philly to discuss generally what the costs are of murals of the size that we're talking about, so that we have a range. I mean, I think that we were assuming that they could be running from $80,000 to $100,000 a piece.
Oh, that's not what I was supposed to do.
Oh, that's not what you were supposed to do? That's what I had. Okay. What were you supposed to do, Ellen?
To make contact with Philly, some Philly people, or a particular person who had worked for the mural project, to kind of get an idea on social, community involvement and things like that. And of course, one thing that I would ask would be concerning pricing, or those kinds of things. But the main thing was to contact them concerning community engagement.
Community involvement. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my main objective for doing that. When Tina and I first talked about reaching out to that, and also talking about a few other things too. Um, I know that we asked Malfitano, since he claimed that he knew artists that could possibly do it or would want to do it, but also this is a short notice for artists and to get something done over the summertime, because sometimes some of the popular artists they might be booked for 3 or 4 years out,
That's
I would
correct.
assume. And just having worked with like galleries and museums in terms of how they book their exhibitions, and I would as well in talking to artists who people are waiting for commissions, and they're like, oh well, I'm booked for like 3 or 4 years and doing artwork for these, and and the man that he sent us his work, um um if he is a contender or somebody that we want to seriously consider, he needs to be reached out to ASAP, just so that we would know if he is a consideration or not. But then again, we also talked about putting out a national call looking for artists. Another thing that Kate also mentioned is maybe we can get from the Philly Project a listing of artists that do that kind of work. So there were like several conversations that happened during that time. So I have been able to contact the main person I've been trying to get a hold of. Um, I've been trying to stay clear of the Philadelphia Mural Project people because like I was given some particular information. Now I'm just going to go ahead and reach out to them, since I'm unable to get a hold of this one person who worked for them for quite, for several years. Because we have to get going and moving on this.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did speak, just as Ellen was saying, we did talk a lot about the community engagement and how we might use the media um, in our own social media to be able to engage the city residents in potentially selecting the individuals that would be featured on the mural or murals. That would be, if it was a singular individual for the sports mural, or if it's several individuals, who that might be, and
I thought it was
yeah,
definitely understood there would be several people included in this mural, and it would probably most likely have a basketball theme.
it would have a
And
basketball
there were
team.
several people that Malfitano said that he definitely wanted to see on the mural. And what we talked about, that when we reached out to the community, that we would put maybe a general listing of to almost get people to vote on it, and then have a write-in, almost have you do like a ballot, where you list names of people and do like, well, who are you most interested in, and you can vote on these people, or if you got somebody else you can write that in and reach out that way. And then we also talked about and I think Malfitano was concerned, well, what if um nobody, well, that so and so does not get a high mark, like for example, like Rihanna, um like she doesn't get a high mark. Well, then of course you have veto power. You can include the most famous basketball, like women's basketball player in the country, of course, by all means. So we talked about that. We also talked about doing it through the TNT, on the TNTs, that would be an outreach. Malfitano also felt as though, I think he felt as though that he was probably the best person to reach out to the media group, and that he wanted to start with New York media group, and which is Syracuse.com, and the Post Standard first, almost trying to make them feel exclusive and see if they might be able to come up with some type of marketing plan, or to kind of list it, or the ballot listing it, including the histories of the people that we are talking about. He was also concerned, no, somebody else brought it up, that they were concerned that some of these, well, that we need to reach out to some of the candidates or their families before we go ahead and list them on the ballot, because there was some interesting backlash on one project once. So he definitely wanted to do that. And that's why Kate sent out that email saying that so and so and so and so and so and so agreed, and she has, I think, calls out to so and so. So that's why if that one email that I think everybody got looked a little bit like, what is this? That is the reason why Kate said that she would contact some of those families that we have been thinking about possibly including them or their family member on the mural.
That actually, Frank actually has been contacting all these folks, and so far, so far he's gotten yeses, including from Grace Jones.
Yes.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah, of course. But I think it's good policy to go and make sure the family members are, or the individuals themselves are on board. Yeah.
I think also Frank has been reporting on where he's going for money, and what kind of success he's had so far with that,
What
which
does
has
that
been
look like?
interest, but not cash.
Ah.
You know, but I think that I think he's on the right track. He knows what he's doing when he's asking for money.
Yeah, really, this, and the other thing that we did discuss with him is that it's really his project, and this is an opportunity for the Public Art Commission to be able to show how it can work with individuals who have, good ideas,
Yes.
and and kind of test some of the things that we've been talking about in terms of, Frank's going to need a place to park the funding, and the idea would be to do that through the account that we set up with through TNT. And just it's a great opportunity. He's obviously a really good fundraiser, and so we don't need to worry about that. He's off and running. He knows a lot about the media, and really we're there to help facilitate in different ways, setting up meetings with the administration, helping him pull together things that he's not experienced with. For example, sending out an RFP. We can definitely help him with that. And the community contact and engagement, we can help him with that too. Yeah, sorry, Ellen, go ahead.
Another thing that you brought up too at the last meeting is that before we jump this out in the community or on the media, well, any of the media, you definitely have to put the mayor on board. So that was something I think that you were going to go after, to just let the mayor know on what's on board for all this, and then once he knows, and then we can start maybe putting out the information the way that we all would agree on.
And I've put in the request for a meeting too, so hopefully that will be happening before the holidays, and that's what I requested. So we'll see.
Kate,
we will
Kate,
see.
I have a question. Could we suggest that Frank get with Corky on the budgeting for this and materials, just to assure that everything is done correctly and budgeted correctly?
Yeah, I can contact Corky too, and we can. Yeah, that's an easy one. I had been thinking about Corky, so.
Yeah, I'd like to make sure that Corky won't let anybody cut any corners on the quality of the preparation or materials, and that's often been the mistake that has been made in the budgeting is that they go kind of cheap, and then it looks like the thing may not last very long if they do it that way. It would be better to have Corky right on at the beginning. He's actually got a reputation everywhere for murals that don't fall apart and peel off.
Yep. Okay.
And it would be a great use of one of our members.
Okay. So that is sort of where we are. Emmanuel, I don't know if you have any questions. What I'll do is I'll write up I haven't written up my minutes yet, but I will do that and then send them out to like everyone, but in particular the subcommittee. And send along also Frank's latest proposals, how he summarized what his thoughts are on this, so and where he would get the funding.
Okay. I got the reason I had to go away. I got a phone call from the White House. Believe it or not.
Congratulations!
But yeah, that was hilarious. We also need to set up some kind of a tour of potential sites for these and get Frank to go along with us on those. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm working on the locations at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can do that.
Okay, great.
Do we want to go on to Geodesic Dome or should we hop back to Lauren?
I've got the logo pulled up if you want to take a minute.
Let's do that.
At okay. Let me see.
I have to get off because I have another call. So do you need me for anything before I jump?
Well, actually, it was so we were successful going to TNT for the Geodesic Dome. How much was that for? Was it 2,500?
I think so. I think I know that the bags came to my house, so we have them. I have to call in the morning and figure out where. The things that COVID has done is my toy drive that I have every year in a place is now online. So this is what the front of my house looks like.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Bag look like.
So.
Oh, so do you have the bag unpacked?
The bags are on the front porch. Let me grab one. I didn't know this was going to be show and tell.
I know.
There are 200 bags. I understand.
You should have let them go first. Well, if we don't use them for this other thing, then they're around to use for the future.
That's right. Will always be good.
And what date was decided on to do this? Oh, okay.
Jimmy, do you know what the date is?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's the logo. There it is.
That's the logo.
So I think the date is, and don't quote me, but I think it's December 18th.
Okay.
There are 200. I heard. I think you asked this, Ellen. I think there are 200 of these, and then there are $10 worth of art supplies per bag, which is a painting, a white painting pad, and then some sort of paint markers from the art.
Beautiful.
And you said there were 200 of them?
200 bags, and then 200 sets of the markers and everything.
And you think it's December 18th,
of those
that's
books.
a Friday.
I got 36 of the books from Downtown Committee.
Right.
And I think that Tina has a way of getting some additional ones out of storage. 36 is all they had at Center State CEO.
Okay.
But there are supposed to be more in storage.
Okay. And so we'll have to double check with Michael John about the date, but if it's December 18th, then that's a Friday.
That's the date that's in my head, but I could be absolutely wrong. It could be the 16th, but I think it's the 18th.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that is full steam ahead then. We just have
Okay.
to,
Back to Lauren.
yeah, and thanks, Jimmy. And then
Okay.
we'll also make sure we know who's going to be manning the booth.
Okay, if I don't see anybody, I'm happy, whatever you celebrate.
Right.
Bye, Jimmy.
Bye.
Okay, I am attempting to share my screen.
Okay. It's
Just-
blank.
Anything come up yet?
No.
Oh. Weird. I think we had this issue last time.
It says it's starting to share, so I think it will
Okay.
just take a minute.
Oh,
Okay, maybe I've got lag on my end or something.
there it is.
Okay, that's it. So far.
Okay.
And Lauren, do you want to explain to Ellen kind of the symbology, the symbols?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the idea was to be contemporary. So that's why it's kind of it's simplistic. It should be something that can stand some time, test of time, because it's not overly stylized. The cube would stand for salt. You know, obviously Syracuse is known as Salt City, but not quite so in your face as just calling it Salt City. I think the central symbol is pretty straightforward. It's trying to be inclusive. There was some discussion about how do you include, all able-bodied people, and I'm not really sure how to do that. That's a pretty tall. That's a huge discussion. So if you guys have any input there, that would be welcome. And yes,
This is a very universal symbol, I would say.
yeah.
Everybody who looks at that knows what that is.
Right, and I think it is pretty inclusive as it is. I think it's pretty impossible to account for absolutely everybody. If we can, that would be fabulous. I just don't know in terms of like time, how much we want to debate that. But if you guys want to have a conversation about it, or if you have any suggestions, I am absolutely open to that. There's the last symbol is, it's an A for art. And it's also three-dimensional. It references three-dimensional and two-dimensional space. So other than that, I don't want to belabor it too much. Any feedback?
And all of it fits very well with the type that was selected. So I like it.
Well, and I think that the type is pretty close to what they've selected for, the free font that they've selected for the city.
Oh, good.
It's definitely not, it's obviously not an exact match, but I think it's pretty similar. I need to go back and look at it again, but I remember thinking like, oh, this is pretty contemporary looking font.
Now, the one question that I have is aspect ratio. This is very landscape compared to the old one that we had, which really was square, I believe.
Okay.
And if they require a square for some uses, can we reconfigure this in some way?
Yeah, I could do a couple, and I think that goes along with the branding sheet that Ruthie wants
Okay.
us
Yeah, I think that's
Alright.
right.
is that we would have to come up with a couple of different configurations for the text and the symbols. So we would, I would come up with a couple of variations that then we can approve as a group too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think everybody liked this before, but I think we do need to have those variations. There may be some reason that they need a square one
Sure.
or a
They were
vertical.
talking about when you might have a couple different departments featured in sort of in a row, and being able to put the logos kind of all together, gang them up together. There's a special word for that, and I can't remember what, but
Right. Yeah. And she asked if we could lay that out, that would really help her out too.
Okay.
That
good.
they can have an understanding of like when we're not in absolute control of the logo, and if it's going on something the city is doing, what does it look like in those kinds of scenarios? So, so by the end of this whole process, we should have a fairly complete branding guide for Syracuse Public Art Commission.
Excellent. Thank you, Lauren.
Absolutely. Now, are we okay with the black on white? Do we feel the need to add color? Anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't think so unless it's required.
I don't think it's required.
No.
Or now the blue, what is the blue for? Could they say be blue on white?
Well, the Prussian blue is for departments, which I'm not really quite sure that we qualify as a department, but I think my understanding was that would be the color that we would use.
Okay.
Because there's kind of a golden color. I can't remember the name of the color off the top of my head. Kind of a golden mustard kind of color. That was
for the mayor's office, right?
That was for the mayor's office, yeah.
Right. Departments are the Prussian blue, and then what commissions are black and white? I don't know, probably.
I don't think she specified in our conversation. I'd have to go back and look at the PDF because we went through that pretty fast. We covered so much information in that meeting.
Yeah.
And I have to apologize because for some reason I thought I saved that PDF in my personal SPAC folder, but now I can't seem to find it. So I need to email Ruthie and get another copy of that.
And I'll look too, Ruthie. I'm sorry, Lauren.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have it, then let me know and I can shoot Ruthie an email.
Okay. Anything else on this? Okay. Thanks. Great work.
Okay, so do you guys want me to put together a couple of variations in terms of more portrait versus landscape, and then you guys approve them, and then we show them to Ruthie again?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay.
That would be a great idea.
Okay, so I can start working on the branding sheet then.
My recollection that there was one that was not landscape or portrait, but it actually was square.
Square.
Was what they all had something that fit into a square that was the same dimensions on both sides.
That makes a lot of sense because a lot of the logos they've got are circular.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're circular. Okay.
Yeah, so that makes sense that they would want something in a square because then it would kind of fit. Like Kate was talking about, how at the bottom they'll just have like a gang of logos. Yes. And I can't remember the term she used for that too, but I'm familiar with it. That if the other logos are circular, it would look a little awkward for ours to be this longer landscape version.
Yes.
Sitting among those. So sure, I can absolutely come up with a square version.
Is it brand lockup?
Yes, that's it. Brand lockup. That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for that's. You took great notes.
I was like, what are these words?
Okay. Okay.
So, all right.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next thing. Commission vacancies.
Yeah.
Much to say about
So
that, is
I
there?
have, thanks to people who sent information in to me, I've got three names that people sent in to me. Anita, is it Welch? Is that how she says
Welch.
it? Welch. Oh, okay,
Yep.
Welch. Yep. Who's an artist. And teaches at Casanova.
Syracuse, does she?
Sorry?
What does Anita live in Syracuse? Well, I know she has a studio in the Delavan building, but
Yep.
does she live here?
Yeah, she lives in Syracuse, and she teaches in Casanova
Cass.
College.
Where? Because I know she teaches at Cass.
Yes.
Okay, but I didn't think she lived in Syracuse. Okay.
And we have let's see, Devana. How do you say her name? Robady.
I just call her Devana.
Devana.
Oh, it's not Devana. It's Devana.
It's Devana. Like
it's
Savannah.
Very important to her. It's very important to her.
Yeah.
Rovana.
Devana. It's Devana.
Okay.
If you're a northerner, you say Devana, but if you are a southerner, she wants it said Devana because
she's a southerner.
Yeah, because she's a southerner.
She's okay.
Okay.
No, seriously, it means something to her.
Oh yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I want to make sure we say the names correctly. So, Savannah, she is the executive director of the Schweinfurt.
No, she's not an executive director. Like she's a program.
Oh, she's a program. Oh, I thought I looked. Okay, sorry.
No, Donna.
Yep, okay.
Donna is the executive director.
Okay. But she is a resident of Syracuse, but she would fill the. I mean, she is a candidate for the.
And I haven't asked her or talked to her, so.
Right.
Okay. I know she is definitely interested in public arts in Syracuse because we talked about it.
Right.
So yeah.
So that would be she's a candidate for the arts administrator position that is open. And here I'm about to mangle somebody else's name, Elias or Elias. Elias, I would think Gwynn.
Yeah, Elias.
People know him. Elias.
Oh, Elias Gwynn, yeah.
Was recommended by Jimmy to fill the TNT spot. He is a video and film artist. Yeah.
We also need artists too because whatchamacallum is no longer on the board.
Who's that?
Has she talked to you yet? Nadia or
yeah, she just the other day like yesterday or
because
today.
She already moved out of town and
she's on maternity leave too, so I think she sent in a note saying she wasn't available. So we actually have the three spaces. I was also thinking about London Ladd again because he was on the commission for a while, and then he's hopefully everyone knows he's a local muralist. He was, and then he got a job in Buffalo and was no longer able to. Was commuting back and forth. And
he no longer is in Buffalo. He is a graduate student at Syracuse University.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if, and he said before, and this was maybe a year or two ago, that he was interested in getting back on the commission. So, he's.
London would be excellent.
Yeah,
that would be great.
And I'm actually also wondering about Corky because he has not come to any meetings for ever and a day. So I think that his position may be also available. And actually, I can't remember. I'd have to go and take a look to see if he is also a mayoral.
He's an artist.
The Common Council. I know, but if he's mayoral or the Common Council.
Oh, he is mayor.
He's mayor as well. Okay, so all of these positions are mayoral appointments that are open. And the mayor himself may have some ideas, but I think it's valuable just to be able to make those recommendations. If you have any others, I'm happy to talk to all of these people. I know I don't have to talk to Elias, but I could talk to Anita, Savannah, and London just to see if they're interested. And if I can get their information, and I can send them on over to the mayor's office.
I think Davana would be an excellent addition. She would be really good.
Okay. If you have any other ideas, it's not too late.
Okay.
Send them along, and I'm sure that the mayor will be grateful for having a choice of people to be able to select. So that's where we are right now. That's it.
Okay. And still no quorum for approval of minutes.
No,
so.
now we're even less of a quorum. So,
yeah. Well, we always had less of a quorum. So.
Yeah, sadly. But I think that apart from all the other moving parts, I will get from Michael John the confirm the date for the dome.
Yes.
The dome day and time, and then we'll.
I don't know what the dome thing is.
Sorry?
Oh, that dome thing. Oh, the dome downtown. Okay.
The geodesic dome. Yeah.
Okay, like when you said dome, I kept on thinking the dome.
Oh yeah, only that's not called the dome anymore, right? It's called
the dome, not the dome.
It's called.
The dome. I get it.
Little dome, the little downtown dome.
But yeah, I drove by it a few days ago. It's like, well, let me see what this thing looks like. Oh, and yeah, I think 200 bags is going to take up the whole thing, or the whole.
Right.
Hey.
And if it's on the 18th, we gotta get the word out to people that we're going to be there and that they'll be, coloring or painting. We have a giveaway for the kids, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I looked at that thing. It's not big enough for me to be in there with anybody else. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. My space is really wide, and especially with COVID, it grew even wider.
Yeah.
So when I drove by the dome, I'm like, yeah, okay, interesting,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking you could glue that thing on a diamond ring or on a gold ring and say, "Hey, I just got engaged." Look at the size of that thing.
But because of COVID, well, and I know that he talked about how the ventilation system is good and all this other stuff and blah, 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 blah. I mean, like the hype is nice on it, well, I appreciate that, but still, my senses tells me not to be in there with anybody else. Sorry.
Yeah, I wondered if it would be a situation where whoever is manning it at whatever time they may sit inside the dome, and when people come up, you go outside the dome and hand out the bags and talk. Yeah, because I don't think anyone is feeling particularly comfortable about being in small enclosed spaces with.
It's certainly a statement about the times.
Yeah.
It's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although those things are being used as outdoor dining all over the country.
Yeah.
I know, but you're choosing to go with someone. Like I would sit in that dome with my husband, perhaps, but
okay.
but maybe not my son.
It'd be great if there were multiple ones, so other people could be in their own domes.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that's how they're
we
being
should all have our own domes. Just kind
but
of walk
now
around.
everybody is stranger danger. So I feel uncomfortable in that, just driving by that space. I feel really uncomfortable.
I wonder if there's going to be some kind of like one in, one out. I mean, I don't know how that's. I wasn't at the meeting about the geodome, so I feel. A little
Have you seen it? It's down there now.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't look like in out. I mean, like, well, it looks like it might only be one entrance, but I'm not sure. Like I guess I got to walk around it.
I guess I'm thinking for the event, because if our names are on bags, that's going to be, our logo's on a bag that's going to be passed out, and then we're like promoting something that's not COVID safe. I don't know if, I guess I would be a little concerned about that, and if there's going to be any regulation of people going in and out of this thing, or if it's just kind of like enter at your own risk.
Michael John had gone to great lengths to explain that it had been approved even in code orange, or whatever we are in right now. But
okay.
I really think that
we're in code orange.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So. But I think that we all have to respect each other's feelings of comfort. That what is your degree of comfort? And I would tend to agree with Ellen that it might be a situation of standing outside the dome in the open air.
I'm not sure if it's code orange for the way we are intending on using it. So I'm curious about that. But looking at it, it appears as if it was designed to be like maybe dining or familiar people, familiar party being in that situation together. But It doesn't seem like it is designed to be this constant stream of traffic. I don't know.
You're right, Ellen.
I have to put myself in that situation and go down there. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll go down there and walk around it and see how I feel. But just driving by it, I'm like, hell no. Sorry.
Well, I'd be also interested to know how. I haven't actually. I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in action yet. I haven't actually seen anyone using it yet. So, and that will be another question for Michael John to find out how people are using it. So, and what's been successful.
And if we get upcoded, it won't make any difference anyway, because I think something like that would be banned.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
So, you mean to red?
If we went to red, I think you couldn't use that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be sent back home. Well, I'm sorry, I'll be sent back home.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, I will check in with Michael John and then just send out what details I can.
Do they still plan?
And we'll just go from there.
Like projections. Well, is that a plan to do a projection of of sites of sculptures or public arts projects, or are they just going to hand out bags and the other thing?
I don't think that. Like a slide well, show. I mean, if we were going to do a projection, we would need to get the equipment to be able to do that and create the presentation. So
yes, I think that's not going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. So, so I and especially if we're talking about this enclosed space, how comfortable people will be feeling to go in and out. I mean, if we can pull something together quickly, that's fine. Again, I think maybe what it would be helpful would be to understand from Michael John how it's being used, and then we can adapt to best practices in the dome. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it.
I think that is it too. Is there a motion to adjourn? Right. I guess the thumbs up is the motion. What's the second?
All right.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that information, Kate. And, And then I guess we'll have to find some way of figuring out what to do about this thing because
Yep.
we have no info.
Well, and whatever, I think that we'll be able to use those bags and the materials
For future events.
for future
Although
events.
I really think we should try to get as rid of many of them as possible now because we got a new logo.
We got
Oh, that's true.
No, we should try to do and before Christmas time because that's a great thing for the kids to have. But it may not be solely the geodesic dome. Maybe when Jimmy's doing his Toys for Tots, he can be using some bags that I don't know. We'll figure it out anyway. So
Okay.
all right.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
Care.
Maureen.
We'll be talking soon.
We'll be talking very soon. Okay. Bye.